If you're gonna make an attempt to do a best looking ever PlayStation 4 games, you have to start off with Until Dawn. This is an adventure game released for the PS4 in August of 2015 that was a very fun callback to the old school teen slasher movies of the 80s and 90s. The game started development as a PS3 game that utilized PlayStation Move, but thankfully, the project was reworked into what we know today. You follow 8 young adults as they go away to a spooky cabin for the weekend, but then this strange monster, the Wendigo, starts picking them off one by one, and the outcome of the story relies heavily on what choices you make throughout the game as you try to keep them all alive. And I'll tell you right now, I've done a complete playthrough of this, and I did not keep them all alive. If you've ever played Until Dawn, how many were you able to keep standing? It relies heavily on scripted sections and interactive cutscenes rather than traditional gameplay, which allowed the devs to get super detailed with the character models and the environments and the animations. The monsters in particular, well, they move in such a disturbing, unnatural manner that it adds a ton of fear to the fear factor of the game. And this game is beautiful. Devil May Cry 5. This hack and slasher was released just a month ago, brand new, and has already sold a whopping 2 million copies thanks to many reasons. I mean, the combat is great, the gameplay is great, it is getting rave reviews. It was built with the RE engine, the same engine used for Resident Evil 7 and the RE2 remake, which you know, those games are absolutely gorgeous. However, where those games went for more grounded and realistic visual styles, DMC5 takes that engine and uses it for flashy, over-the-top, and very extravagant combat sections with tons of explosives, particle effects, and special moves that are total eye candy for the gamer. It has been called the best in the series by a lot of players, and it's deserving of a spot on today's list just for the visuals. That's not even talking about the storytelling or the bones of the game. Kingdom Hearts 3. Unpopular opinion here. Some people don't like it. I want to know what you think in the comments section. It was hyped up like crazy, which can be expected from a series with this big of a following in a game that has been delayed for this long of a time. It started development all the way back in 2005, but it wasn't released until 2018, and usually when a game is delayed that long, well, the results in the visual department look dated. However, Square Enix was able to keep up with the times thanks to the Unreal Engine, and they recreated tons of Disney worlds almost perfectly. The Toy Story and the Tangled sections in particular are absolutely stunning. Kingdom Hearts has always been praised for its ability to bring those classic Disney worlds to life, but none have done it quite as well as KH3 did, and I think everybody will agree, even if you didn't like the game was gorgeous. Metro Exodus. This is one of my picks for Game of the Year for 2019. This was the recent release for the third entry in the Metro franchise, and it was the first game to really let you explore above the tunnels. Developers 4A Games and publishers Deep Silver really wanted to bring the attention to detail of the first two games into an open world experience with excellent visuals, world building, and creature design. Metro Exodus features extremely detailed and very elaborate worlds to live into. I mean, in addition of great shooting and stealth mechanics as always. If you were a fan of the first two games, or if you're just looking for a good horror FPS with some great eye candy on your PlayStation 4, you need to check out Metro Exodus, and check out the first two Metro games while you're at it, because those were both top-notch as well. Metal Gear Solid 5. Now, MGS is a series that has always tried to be as realistic as possible, both with the visuals and the gameplay style, as you have to be smart with your approaches, but there's also plenty of ways you can handle each situation. Metal Gear Solid 5 features perhaps the best gameplay in the entire series, thanks to how open-ended most of the scenarios are and how many different ways you can actually complete your objectives in the game. But that is not what gets the game on today's list. What does get MGS 5 on the list is its visual quality, which is extra impressive when you remember that this game came out in 2015 and reportedly started development 3 years prior to that, all the way back in 2012. It's hard to make a game that looks as realistic and holds up a few years down the line after other games have been making such big leaps in technical possibilities, but somehow, MGS 5, it did it. It still looks great to this day, and it's a shame. It really is a shame what happened to the franchise after Hideo Kojima fell out with Konami, because chances are we are never actually going to get MGS 6, unfortunately. This month's giveaway is for a brand new PlayStation 4 console. All you have to do to enter is like the video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, turn on those notifications, and tweet me why you want to win it with your Twitter handle included. Spider-Man was released in 2018 to huge reception after so many years of hype, with some calling it the best Spidey game ever made. Unlike other games on this list today, 2018 Spider-Man isn't really going for a super realistic look, but rather a more stylized and comic booky one, if that's even a phrase. But that does not mean that it can't look good, because frankly, Spider-Man still looks better than most other games on the market today thanks to a ton of things. Amazing map design, lighting, character animation, web swinging, all of it. It lets you see it all at one time. All the alternate Spidey suits also add to the visual quality, as they all looked perfect, and most of them are pretty spot on with the ones in the movies and the comics, which was not only a great technical feat, but it was also a great way to win over older Spidey fans who miss seeing Tobey Maguire on the big screen. Red Dead Redemption 2. Released by Rockstar last year after a few delays and a ton of hype, RDR2 is without a doubt the best looking Rockstar game that they've ever released, and it just makes me wonder, how in the world are they going to top the visual effects with this thing with GTA 6? Rockstar games are always massive, they're wide open for exploration, but this often comes at a cost of more realistic graphics, like how the GTA 5 map was incredibly detailed and had tons of stuff to do, but if we're being honest, the character models and textures, they weren't the best. Sacrifices have to be made in games that big, right? Well, wrong. Rockstar works some magic with RDR2 because not only is the game massive, but it looks incredible. Character models are super high quality, the lighting and the shading is excellent, and the animations are as natural and immersive as you could ask for in any video game like this. Rockstar, like I said, has some big shoes that they've created themselves that they have to fill themselves for GTA 6. Horizon Zero Dawn. This game does not get enough love, man. Now, it may not have looked as realistic as games like MGS5 or RDR2, but it gets a higher spot today thanks to the creativity shown off by the developers in the overall world design. Horizon is an open-world action game set in a world where humans have to survive against giant robotic creatures which are roaming around, while you also try to learn more about where you came from and flesh out the story and find out how the world ended up how it is. Like Spider-Man, Horizon's visual style is more stylized than realistic, but it still looks absolutely amazing thanks to the colorful world. The colors in this game are top-notch. The creature design, top-notch. And the animations, well, they keep you in the moment. If you've never played this game, go. It is not too late at all. Go dive in to Horizon Zero Dawn. The Order 1886. This is a game that flopped, but it didn't flop because of its visuals. The game was released back in February of 2015, and while pretty much everybody is going to agree that it was a massive disappointment, not a very good game, there's no denying the fact that it looks amazing. Many people called it over-designed for the sake of just showing off new graphics technology, and I personally agree with this because the devs obviously, they cared way more about how the game looked instead of how the game played, and you need to find that balance. But fair is fair, and this is a list of the best-looking games on PS4, and The Order 1886 is far and away one of the best looking games on the platform to this day, as well as one of the best looking console games ever made. And personally, I would love to see the Order's concept be revisited in the future, maybe on the PS5, because I think the world has potential to be something awesome now that Sony has gotten the feedback from the first game. But then again, after the disastrous response the first game got, it's probably not going to happen. And finishing off our list today is the God of War. That's right, the beloved reboot of the God of War franchise. Now, God of War started off as an over-the-top and stylish hack and slasher, but the 2018 reboot went for a much more grounded and story-driven approach, featuring an open world and more Dark Souls-style combat. God of War features insane visual design in both the character models and the environment, and was also the first 3D video game to use a single-shot camera, meaning you can play the entire campaign front to back without the camera ever cutting to a new angle, which keeps the player immersed in the role from beginning to end. Now, some people were upset that the series strayed away from its roots, which I can get that. I understand that. The new game, though, it was a success. It was critically acclaimed, and if you ask me, it's the best-looking game currently available for the PS4. And there you have it. Those are 10 of the best-looking games available right now on the PlayStation. Due to the fact that Sony started off the 8th console generation with more powerful hardware, they really put a ton of money and time into making sure their games looked as good as possible, and that third-party games also met that standard. And hopefully, the PS5 can reach that same level of graphical fidelity without sacrificing the frame rate, because I'll be honest, as great as these games look, it's definitely a bit of a drag to only be playing at 30 FPS, sometimes even less than that, but you let me know. what do you think the best looking PS4 game on the market is right now? And I will see you guys next time. Make sure to drop a like, turn on those post notifications, and I'll see you soon.